Railway Museum, Phil Willis, and from Hand in Hand Restorations, Ken Soderbeck. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning. Glad to be here.
So, Ken, I know that you've been restoring things since the late 60s. How did you get into it?
I married a gal who was into antiques.
Okay.
And I was a volunteer fireman for years.
Really?
And she said a volunteer fireman who likes old stuff should have a fire truck. So I bought a fire truck and restored it. Didn't know anything about it, but I learned a lot and joined a group that where I could gain a lot of information, a lot of good history, and it's been my life ever since.
Yeah.
I think everyone wants a restored fire truck.
Yeah, everyone wants one, but I've seen some of the restoration projects that you guys have done at the Lost Rail, and it's not for the faint of heart. It's a lot of work, isn't it, Phil?
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, you would.
I just watch these people dedicate thousands and thousands of hours on restoring these two rail cars, and their perfection. If they can't restore it, they just use their carpenter skills and build it, or their metal skills. So it's just so interesting to see the pictures when we initially purchased one of the cars, a 29, and were gifted the car 47, to see the pictures how these served as residential housing.
Right.
And in the front of one little, seems like 6x8 sections, a full bath, sink and a toilet. Mm-hmm. So it's now it's back to its original position to be engineer driving it.
It's amazing.
So, yes, we have so much going on at Lost Railway Museum, but we're a working museum. And it features mostly around having the restoration people on site all day Saturday.
There's me. I rode the Bolin Express. Look at that. It's unbelievable.
This is one of the favorites. People love this reality ride.
It's awesome.
And thank you, JTV, for helping us put this together.
You feel like you're in the train on a train ride. You really do. I mean, it's awesome.
It's leaning on the curves.
There's me wishing I was alive during that era.
Really, 1900?
Yes. Yeah. I would have done well in early 1900s.
Yes.
I think so.
You wouldn't.
So you guys are having a party on the 30th, and that is to highlight one of the new cars, correct?
Well, I'll let Ken start here.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're putting in a new exhibit.
Okay.
There was a period in the history of Consumers Energy and the Foote brothers when they owned part of the interurban line. And at one point in time, the Pere Marquette Railway from Lansing north all the way to up to Mackinac was for sale. They were in bankruptcy and they were for sale for a bargain price of $5 million.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And WA had the idea that maybe he should buy the railway. And JB, who was my grandfather, by the way, said
James Foote was your grandfather?
Was my grandfather.
Oh my gosh, no kidding. Wow.
That's my connection.
A good reason to be part of this.
To this history.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Anyway, he said we'll electrify it. We'll make an electric railway, then we'll have electric railways all the way to Mackinac.
And this features the largest electric motor ever used by the Interurban Railway.
The space between Jackson and Grass Lake was the only place in the world that they ever ran a 5,000 volt DC electric motor on a trolley. And one of the motors is still in existence. It was given by Westinghouse to Henry Ford Museum. and they have loaned us the motor for display.
That's amazing.
The kicker of this whole story is when Foote decided to electrify this all the way to Mackinac, Consumers Energy at that time did not have any lines or any electric units north of Lansing. So the railroad then bought properties. They bought the Springville Land Company in Manistee and a couple of power dams and water rights and the rights for power all the way up to Mackinac. The railroad bought that. Now, the kicker of the story is eventually, unfortunately, W.A. died in 1915, and he was the one that was pushing this whole deal, and so it was dropped. They never bought the Pure Marquette Railway. However, consumers received from the railway all of this property in the northern Michigan. And that's how Consumers Energy got most of the lower peninsula of Michigan
Interesting.
in their power.
Wow, very interesting.
Well, Ken's one of the Jackson's leading historians. I'll tell you, he knows a lot of things. He's our leading person on the restoration. If he wouldn't have practiced on fire engines, how would he ever know to do interurban rail cars? But his skills are unbelievable, and he has 8 or 10 following people that take his lead, and they come in Saturday morning or during the week and, okay, Ken, what do we do next?
Yeah, that's cool.
Ken's a manager and an expert.
So this museum, Lost Railway Museum, opened in 2017, 5 years ago. It's amazing to see how much you guys have done. Talk a little bit about just the overall museum and how far it's come in 5 years.
Well, considering there was almost a 2-year lapse in COVID,
Right.
we're still truly excited about our progress. We've had 20,000 people,
Wow.
20,000 guests come through the doors of our museum already, and we'll exceed 5,000 this year again.
That's awesome.
Now, we never stop with ideas and new things that we want to do to this exciting family center. Saturday, there was a Heritage Day in Grass Lake, and there was just a steady stream of people coming in, families, kids running around, kids on rides, kids doing virtual reality, but it's just exciting to see the excitement of the children. Now, we're just in process of hiring an executive director to help us take us to bigger and new challenges and new ideas. We have 3 excellent candidates, and I interviewed the third one last night. I says, now you're making this tough.
Well, that's a good problem to have. Good problem.
Now you're making this tough.
Yeah.
So, and we're expanding with property out there. We bought property across the street that's going to be utilized for community parking. We're tearing down the old home on the property. And we're working on another property acquisition so we have space to grow and expand our exhibit space and things for large engines.
Well, it's amazing. You could actually take an electric train to northern Michigan, right?
That was W.A.'s dream.
The dream.
Which never
Yeah.
came to fruition.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
Because he died.
Yeah.
And he was the pusher.
It would have been interesting to see how that changed the whole landscape of the state. You know, be interesting
Yes,
to
it
guess at
certainly-
what that would look like.
It certainly would have.
That's possible on the vision. What would it have done?
Yeah.
because the other co-founder of this Michigan Interurban Railway, which started in Grass Lake, he was a great explorer and inventor and wanted to go over new adventures, but he passed away about 3 years later, I think. And
this museum really is a labor of love, and I know both Phil and Ken have, you talk about thousands of hours. I know that you two have been right at the top of that list in terms of amount of devotion. And the reward is the community's gift that we get to enjoy, and the next event is coming up the end of the month, and everyone's invited to this celebration and chance to see the latest exhibit and so much more. Ride the Boland Express, and if you haven't been, you need to go. Thanks for coming in today.
Glad.
thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, congratulations on awesome work and creating such a jewel. Lost Railway Museum's Phil Willis and Hand in Hand Restorations, Ken Soderbeck. More of the morning show